It's great to be back, and today we are once again talking about our series, Navigating Uncertainty. This is a series we started in December 2024 inside the Suicide Then Forgiveness podcast. It's a real time series and will air at intervals over the next year. It's about life as it is right now. For many, life feels so confusing, and we're here to hopefully help a little. The new series is packed with real time information, tips, expert resources, and raw, honest conversation designed to guide you through these challenging times. We've had special guests already, like David Amerlin, Mark Babbage, Andy Grant, and they've all shared practical tips, expert resources, and truly meaningful conversations. Whether you're seeking clarity, connection, or just a moment of peace, this series has something for everyone. Now, I want you to realize that not everybody's going to agree with everything that you hear during this series, including some of our guests. But we want to look at all sides of the current situation in the world so that we together can face the uncertainty. And today, I am so honored to bring you a past guest. David Woods Bartley is with me today. Hello there.
Dear soul, what a joy to be back with you again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Happy New Year. It's February.
Happy
It's
New
still,
Year. It's
if we're
lovely to be back
before
with
June,
you.
we're it's still appropriate to say.
It absolutely. And even more perfect because I have to confess, this morning I took down the Christmas tree.
Oh, I'm a little jealous that you had it up. Yes. That you had it up. I think we had ours up. So my birthday was on the 12th of January. I think we had it up for about another week. We had it till about the 18th. The fact you had it longer, I'm a little jealous because I can have that thing. You know what? I can have it up all year.
My husband was angling for all year. It did look very pretty, but I like my living room back.
No,
I just, in all honesty, there's so much going on in the world.
yeah.
I'll be honest, I was having a tough time this month. And let me interrupt that for a minute, say happy birthday.
Thank you. 62 and never, I shared this with I was reaching out to make some connections on LinkedIn with people in behavioral health. And I ended each saying that I really, and I'm 62 years old and I've never been more mentally well in my entire life.
Wow.
And I just want to help.
Except for that last wobble, I'm going to agree with you because I'm probably in the same space. I am more mature.
Look,
I have come to terms with who I am that I'd never done before. I am still the dark Pollyanna, and that won't ever change. But that's part and parcel of getting to the ripe old age of 69 and realizing I need to accept me for who I am, for
mm,
who I am now.
no,
Yeah.
there.
And
No,
that's a big one.
and I think for me, and I think it fits into really what we're talking about in terms of uncertainty. I actually, life now at 62, there is a finite aspect to it that I didn't have before. And I actually think for me, that actually reduces uncertainty because I figure that's what I would imagine longevity is pretty good in my family history. We lost my birth father at just 43 of cancer
Yeah.
induced by smoking. But outside of that, and outside of that, everybody else, mom lived 90 plus years. And so I figured, let's say I'd live another 30 years,
Yeah.
3 decades to really what I want to do is make a contribution. I'm really not looking for anything from anybody. I want to give back. And I've become a huge, well, I've always been, who isn't, a Denzel Washington fan. But you can go on Instagram and some other things And I have called these different threads they're just so wonderfully positive that it just I love and need now in our current
Yeah.
environment. And one of the what did he talk about? I'm gonna mess it up because I'm not Denzel, unfortunately. He talked about the three stages of life, more or less. In the first, you learn, and then in the first third is learning, and then the second third is growing, and then in the last third is giving. And I'm like,
Ah,
he said it
oh,
much more beautifully. Denzel Washington, of course, would say something. And
oh, that's beautiful.
I know when he said that, I was like, oh, wow. And I feel that now. It's
Yeah.
you and I were talking, and the idea that we'll share here about an idea that I have around the work that I don't care if my name's associated. I do believe passionately it's going to gain traction. It,
Yeah.
it will. It's just, it's that good. I don't take credit for it. It came from however we want to define this, what created us. It came from that
Yeah.
because it needed to be expressed at this time. So it's so funny because I think, not because I think I know, and I think, dear friend, you would agree with me. If we were younger than 60, I would probably be pretty passionate, yet albeit vehement in my like, hey, I didn't get credit for this.
Yeah.
It's gotta
Yeah.
have to be more. Care less. You know what? It's funny because when you look at my bio now, I'm a product of the people in my life. That's it. So I look at all this stuff that I got to put down to because somebody who ideally would welcome me to present and get paid because that's what I do. I'm embarrassed to a certain degree because there's all this stuff about, well, you did this and you did this and you
Yeah.
did this. I'm like, again, I know it's necessary because it hopefully would give somebody an idea of, okay, that can't suck that bad if he's done all this. But when I hear it, it's just like, oh man, it's funny.
Okay, I want you to reframe that
Okay.
because we're very alike. I always found that embarrassing. But the fact is, you are comforting the people that want to get help somewhere, who feel a connection with you by giving them the list of your expertise, your experience, and your life history. And
Okay.
you're basically, it's like a big warm hug.
Well,
They can now know you.
okay. Oh, I
And
love
that
that.
way,
Okay.
yeah, that way you can give them what you can provide.
Okay.
But without that hug, they might
No,
not be open to letting you do that.
no, thank you. I
You're
appreciate
so,
that.
so very
That's
well.
no, and that's good. And I think there's been some things since you and I last talked that I have benefited from that people really need to know about because as they exist now, either they're in a totally different perspective or they're totally misunderstood, like as a treatment particular. But
Yeah.
I've had some things happen in the last year that are mind blowing.
Well, good. I want to hear. So let's get into this because it's down below us, all the information about David. And you can also go listen to his prior episodes. So that's a good thing. And you can learn whatever else you need to learn. But for this moment, I want to know what you learned and where that's taking you.
Mm. So 2023 was the best speaking year I'd ever had. Elaine, I was all over the world, literally,
Yeah.
mostly doing work with the military, which is so near and dear to my heart because while I've never served, my eldest brother, he was 18, I was 7. He came in as my father when our father died so
Right.
young. My beloved brother enlisted in the army in 1970 and he retired 42 years later with 2 stars on his shoulder,
Yeah.
meaning he was a 2-star general. So he's my guy.
Yeah.
And so when I get to do all this military work, I'm like, I don't know, I feel closer to him. And so, but unfortunately, with that came right around October or so of 23 is this descent into hell again, into depression.
Mm.
And it was the worst it had ever been, worse than it had been even before. And what I would say to my beloved wife every day was, please just let me die. Just let me die, please. And the confusing thing for me and my family was I was still taking my meds and I'm still doing counseling and what happened? Now, a year later, what we discovered was I was doing too much and I had no balance, no
Yeah.
white space. It was so bad that my wife would take my keys from me in the morning. And you remember when you do a pinky promise?
Yep.
We would do a pinky
Er,
promise. We'd do a pinky promise. She made me promise that I would still be alive when she got home. And so it was awful.
yeah.
And then combined with that, oh, this is just a wonderful thing to happen simultaneously is my left hip began to deteriorate. So now I have no reason to live as far as I was concerned.
Yeah.
And so my family, and I didn't know this, not that they were trying to hide it, but I was so consumed with just want to die, is they say, okay, what do you do for treatment resistant depression?
Yeah.
And then they found, there's different things. There's standalone ketamine treatments. And so we did those for a
Okay.
bit with this wonderful Dr. Banga, who's an amazing man, but it didn't do any good. We did 8 of them. And then we looked at TMS, which is highly effective, which uses magnets as a
Yes.
stimulation for basically it's a rebooting of the brain. But the concern was it takes a while. And like I didn't have
Yeah.
time. And so that really left only one thing, and that was ECT or electroconvulsive therapy, shock therapy. And of course, you and I watched the movie when we were growing up of One Flew Over a Cuckoo's Nest, and you saw
Yep.
that. And and you know what I didn't realize? My beloved father, James Hamilton Bartley, everybody called him Ham. And he died when I was so young, but my 3 older brothers, remember, he was also not only burdened with cancer, but also burdened with horrific depression. And
Oh.
his father had killed himself. My father was just 5.
Oh
So
my God.
my brother Tom in particular remembers that they would take my father. It was a place called St. Elizabeth's. I don't know if they still have it. It was on Washington, DC, where I grew up. And it wasn't back then they called them sanitariums.
Yeah.
They were psych hospitals. And all the attendants were in pure white.
Yep.
And so my father had ECT. And my brother Tom remembers when he would have been like 13 or 14, then bringing after an ECT treatment, bringing our father
Yeah.
back out, and he was gone. He was a zombie. It was like there was nothing. So fast forward ahead, my family says, okay, this is what we need to do for David. And I didn't know this, but I'm blessed with this incredible family. My brother Tom stands up and says, we are not doing this.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no chance that we're doing this. And ultimately, it was my eldest brother, my dad. He said, "No, you know what? We have to."
We have to.
So Summer and I met with Dr. Lauren Marassa at Sutter Center for Psychiatry, and we expressed our fears. And I'll never forget, there was something about this woman who was a psychiatrist, but she didn't seem like a psychiatrist. And I've been with psychiatrists. I love psychiatry. I'm a huge fan. And I remember Dr. Marassa saying, she looked at me and she said, David, trust me. I said, okay. And over the course of the next year, I've had 39 treatments,
Wow.
far more than most the average person was that
Yeah.
bad. And what I can tell you, not only did it save my life, it changed my life. The most, and there are 3 milestones that happened. I'll never forget. So in the beginning, they called it the acute phase, and I was going 3 days a week,
Wow.
just
Yes.
done up my bride. I love that his soul. And so we started in January now, where it's like the first weekend in April. We're in our bedroom. I have a king size bed. and we're making the bed. But the first week in April again, all of a sudden Summer stops. My beloved's name is Summer. She stops and she points at me and she says, "You're back." I'm like, "Really?" She said, "Yeah, you're back." And so that was the first, like, and then, so then end of August was the next milestone. So I was going to go and work with a middle school for 3 days and talk about suicide. And this school is very progressive. And they're like, you know what? They send an opt out letter to the parents. Look, guys coming in and talk about this. If you don't want your kid to be here, then keep them home. But they really should be here.
Yeah.
And I know how to talk to kids about it. And so anyway, so it was early in the morning, had to be there. And so it's a 2.5 hour drive. And by the time I get to the school, it's in a rural area. I have to go to the bathroom. Oh. And so I go into the office and I say, "Hi," because you can't just walk into a school, thankfully.
No.
And I say, "Hi, my name's David Bartley. I'm the speaker." "Oh, Miss Bartley, we're excited you're here." And I say, "Gosh, may I please use the restroom?" And they say, "Oh, sure." Right around the corner. It's the staff restroom. So then I get into the restroom, shut the door, and then out loud say, "I'm so glad I didn't kill myself." And then I looked around. So I'm like, "Dude, who are you talking to?" But it was this whole visceral, I've never said that in 62 years of living that
Yeah.
and then the last happened about a month ago. It's hard, even in the place of progression and healing for a spouse to wonder, okay, if it gets too bad, do I have to?
Yeah.
And we were in a conversation that a couple sometimes have with a little bit of passion and basically said, is there ever going to be a time I don't have to worry that you're not going to be here alive when I get home? And I never thought for that this would happen. I looked at my beloved and I said, "Sweetheart, you want to know what I know now? Is that there can never be anything that would ever happen to me that would ever kill myself." Of course. Yeah. So, of course, Summer burst into tears and
Uh-huh.
burst into tears and just like it's taking it away. So I had a blessing on this past Thursday. Dr. Marasa, who's the head of what they call interventional psychiatry, which includes TMS and intensive outpatient program and some other amazing things. And she said, "Hey, we're having a dinner for physicians within the network that want to know more about interventional psychiatry. And would you come and share your story about ECT?" And I said, "Dr. Marasa, of course I will." And so to stand in amongst of these doctors at the request of this person who said, "Just trust me," and I
Yes.
did, like the whole thing come full circle. It's incredible. And does ECT work all the time? It doesn't. Is it the gold standard? It is. Is it misunderstood? Absolutely. Do you feel anything? Does it hurt? I'm taking a freaking nap.
Yeah.
I go from the time I get there to the time I go home is about 3 hours. Get in, they anesthetize me, they do their thing. I go into recovery. I go home. That's it. Like it couldn't be more boring. And what I made the point to tell the physicians, and in particular Dr. Marasa, was as much as the technology and the science has changed my life, it's those nurses, you and the others. Tell you what, then you go 39 times, you get to know
Yeah.
these people. You are like, it's amazing. And I think I'm so now part of my crusade is it's at least worth a very hearty, serious consideration
Yeah.
because I have the one big side effect that people worry about is memory.
Yeah.
And Dr. Ross again said, you're going to have some memory issues in the acute phase. It is.
Yes.
It's going to be. But she said, "David, give me 90 days after the acute phase and it's going to start to come back." And at this point now, so my last session was January 17th. And so now I'm on maintenance once every six,
Right.
8 weeks, something. And if I were to say, okay, here's 100% of my memory, I might have lost maybe 2. And it is amazing to me, Lane, how much like these small little snippets continue to come back. Like I'll be doing something. I was like, oh my, who thought about that? I'm like, "Oh." There was at one point where it was more significant and there was a concern. I looked at because I have a list of stories that I tell in talks, and there was some I'd look at, can't remember. I remember. And not only my beloved, 2 other quick stories. And I think this is so, what can we do in a time of such radical global uncertainty? Dear God, what can we do? And I think one of the ways that what we can do is reach out to be of service to somebody else. My father, my dad, my brother, starting when I fell into the original pit late fall of 2023, he started this habit that habit's not the right word, this gift, which happens every single day. And it is incredible. So what my 72-year-old brother does is he texts me every morning. And he lives in Illinois, central America, a couple hours ahead of us. So first thing I do is I grab my phone because I want to see. And it's always, now he's a West Point kid. So there's always 4 parts.
Yeah.
First part is what he's doing that day. Second part, his direction for me. Hey, don't forget this, focus on this. He's my dad. Like,
Yeah.
third, motivational quote. And fourth, love you. Elaine, every on vacation, poor man had his tricep got detached from his elbow or some goofiness.
Ah,
So he had surgery, successful surgery, and then he had to have his arm in a cast. Well, like this. Okay.
ah,
Well, I thought, oh God, love him. And this was just a couple months ago. So I'm thinking, all right, give man a poor break. You can give him a couple months off. Oh no, doesn't
no.
miss. Was just in the Cayman Islands on a dive trip. Oh no, doesn't miss. Every day.
Oh,
Every day. So that's, sometimes we think, oh, people get off their phone. It doesn't make that. You know what? Let me tell you how much these texts, and somehow I'm gonna figure out. I think somebody told me there's technology that will take all the texts and put them into I don't know, something, because it's just, and some, I think, and then, so I've tried to model that. And so there's 3 men who at different times reached out to me and said, I could really use your help. I'm like, okay. And I think this may be the best question we can ever ask in our life. And it's the question that it was the second question that the police officer asked me as I was about to jump off the 730-foot tall 4 steel bridge. First question he asked me was, David, would you please share with me how you are feeling right now? Second question, what can I do to help you feel supported right now? Oh, Elaine, I use it in my relationships. You can use it all the time. It is the most brilliant question I think I'll ever know in my life. What can I do to help you feel supported right now? It's not what can I do for you? Because most people are going to say, oh no, I'm good. I'm good.
yeah,
Different. It's what can I do to help you feel support? See, I think people are going to they're going to have greater acceptance of that as opposed to what can I do for you? And
yeah.
so I have followed my beloved brother's lead, and then these 3 men, and they said, "Could you text me?" I said, "I know what that's like. Absolutely."
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, tell me what kind of text?" And they all want spiritual text. I'm like, "Okay, not a problem at all." And so my morning routine is I read my brother's text, and then I text my 3 guys. All my text, and I put a lead in, and then I found this wonderful soul, this incredible Marcellus Marcus, can't remember his last name. He was shot 7 times,
Oh,
like a 7-Eleven, and left for dead.
Oh my God.
And some guy and somehow survived. And now he puts out these incredible things on Instagram and then does so he'll do this talk every day. And he has a camera like this every day. Marcus does it. And then he has a prayer. So it's not real. I copied Marcus's prayer because it's really good. And then I'll do an intro specific to each guy. And it was interesting. Levi, who was the first of these, I said, "Hey, what can I do to help you feel supported?" And he said, "Just stay in touch with me." And I'm like, "Okay, what does that look like?" He said, "Just text me every day." And, okay, no problem. So I'm just, if anything, I'm consistent. I will give myself credit for that. But what's important, and this is true of all three of my guys, I don't always hear back from them that day. And it could be even as far as I think the longest has been like 3 days.
Mm.
And at first I was upset by that. Oh man, you're dissing me. I'm like, it's not about you. Don't be a dumbass. Just do your thing and say, okay. So cruising along, when you just, I tell my brother all the time, because it just to remind him to let him know, gotta know how much this means. I know it's a pain in the ass. Like you're in Greece last year on vacation on a cruise ship, and you're sending me a freaking text. But you just please know I don't take it for granted. So anyway, 2 weeks ago from Levi, here's what I get. Hey, just want to let you know, I think I've turned a corner. Thanks for reminding me who I am. Okay. Uh, Like, so in terms of this environment that we're in right now, do that. And I'm not saying put your head in the sand. That's not what I'm saying. We're given an opportunity to focus on what we focused on expands. It does. And there's awareness, there's obsession, there's too little, there's too much. But I think I've committed, as my brother's committed to me, I've committed to these three guys. I'm not going to miss a day. I just had my hip replaced. And just to pause for a second, what an amazing experience. Unbelievable. The pain had gotten in the last 90 days, every single day got worse. And like when people would watch me, I'm going to use this word. It really wasn't what the word was, walk. They were like, it was like, oh my God, are you okay? No, I'm not. And it was just couldn't get anything. And it was worse at night when I laid down to go to sleep. Basically didn't sleep for 6 months. And so going to surgery, I have very low expectation. I'm like, and I heard nothing but amazing things about this surgeon. He's incredible. And when I met him, he had this great aura about him. Staff was phenomenal. Okay, whatever. Just you can't if you just I'm on a 15 level of pain on a scale of 10.
Yeah.
You get me down to if you get me down into single digits, I'm gonna be okay. And I'm only a week out. And as I talk to you right now, my pain level, maybe a one,
Wow.
maybe. And that one is nothing compared to what the one would have been on the other thing. Because I'm like, how can this be? Like, I don't like I still, and I shared this with my wife the other night. I broke down and cried. I said, I still have a little fear, like in 2 weeks, like all of a sudden something's going to be screwed up. But it is, can't explain it. Except brilliance, the doctor and the staff and the technology and use robots and computers and some other stuff. I'm like, I love you, man. You use whatever you want. So you just freaking use it all, blah, blah. I'm the high and fine. I will sign whatever.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it is just I I can't even compare it because it was I was going into a Panda Express, fast food, food place. I laugh and it was and I had a cane and I walked in and the manager who was facing me, she said, "Here, are you okay?" I said, "Oh, thank sure." I said, "No, I'm not, but it's coming. Okay. Soon. So it's,
Oh,
and I hear people talk about the level of healthcare and stuff in our society. And I'm like, let me tell you what, I have touched basically every single part, including inpatient, intensive outpatient,
yeah.
ECG. I've touched basically every single part of the mental health system in our country,
Yeah.
and I touched many parts of the other part of our health system. Nothing but great things to say.
That's
Like, I
good.
have absolutely zero complaints, and I'm not anything special. I have average insurance, and interesting, my insurance, I have not paid a single dime for my ECT.
Wow.
I know, and I'm like, my I have several psychiatrists that have made a huge difference in my life. And the one said, he says, David, I think because they consider that when you get to the level of ECT, they consider it a life saving
Yeah. Yeah.
process. And they can't deny that. And you don't pay for
No.
it. I'm like, wow. Because if I have 30, and again, 39, just for anybody listening, that is far more. The average is like 11 to 12,
Okay.
but mine was that bad.
Yeah.
Just to give you an idea, I begged my wife, I begged her, just let me die. And now I told her, there's nothing that could happen that I would ever kill myself. Nothing. Like, what? How does that happen? I'm like, you get a couple shocks.
Yeah. That's incredible.
I think it's interesting because I think if you distill it down, most people who are suicidal or most people who are at a place of despair and desperation have lost hope.
Yeah.
Like, there is no hope. And so my whole focus in the work that I do is that connection, which is this my experience with you right now, because you give me the experience of feeling seen, heard, and valued. That's connection. And from that comes only one emotion. It's hope.
Yeah.
In the dictionary, defined as the feeling that what is wanted can be had. Okay, there's hope. But see, I think people think, and Jane Goodall did this in a beautiful quotation in which she says, hope is often misunderstood. People seem to think it is simple, passive, wishful thinking. I hope something will happen, but I'm not going to do anything about it. And she says, that's the exact opposite of hope, which requires action and engagement. And so what I do is being divinely inspired, it didn't come from me, is to teach people three different ways to create connection with anybody, anytime, any place, anywhere. So
Wow.
if you can create connection, seen, heard, valued, you automatically feel hope in
Yeah.
that space. So in the space of hope, people don't kill themselves, not hope. They can't. So in the three methods, I teach people to become great at remembering people's names.
Yeah.
Like that, you leverage curiosity to create understanding because what we see is not what is. No. And then last, like my brother did, let people know how you feel. My brother, in fact, it's interesting. At the end of 2023, my brother sent me this. So this is called a 2-star note. So a general is called a flag officer because any
Ah,
general or admiral they have it literally in their behind them at their desk is a flag. If they're a 1-star, they have one.
right. Right.
So then they have stationary. This is a 2-star note. So my this is the method by which my brother in 42 and a half years of command transformed every single organization that he was with, that he used handwritten notes, not because he's a yes man, not because he's easy, because what he did is he made them, they were timely, they were authentic, and they were accurate. And people were, and my brother is a very humble guy. Like he wouldn't tell you he was a general unless you like squeezed it out of him. But you
Like
knew,
a real leader.
oh, exactly, exactly. And he just, and so he would look for ways to acknowledge people, to mentor people, and he would use these handwritten notes and he would send them to their address, send them to their home. And so it would just say in the return address, it would just say J.R. Bartley. It wouldn't say Major General John R. Bartley. No. And so people would be like, what the hell? Because people work their entire life in the army and never get a handwritten note.
Yeah.
And so I've been on the receiving end of many, been very blessed. And I didn't notice this until the other day. And again, it was so incredible. Really, at the beginning of my descent into hell, My brother mailed this to me, and it says 24 December 2023. David, you can beat this. Love you, John.
Wow.
So those three things, you can do that and you create hope. And then there's my beloved niece, Brooke, knows, and she's incredible and helps me with marketing and stuff. And so she sent this to me because I'm obsessed with hope, because I know people don't kill themselves when they feel hope. They don't.
Yeah.
They maybe love, maybe joy, maybe faith, not hope.
It's in
And
our
see,
tagline. We offer hope.
exactly. See, if you got hope, so if you have it, you're good. Now you're like, okay, and you're telling me you can you can create hope anywhere you want. You go to somebody, and let's say you're working out at the gym and you've worked out there for some period of time. Have you taken the time to know the person's name? And then before they say, hey, hi to you, say, Daniel, hey man, how you doing? That what? And then you become good. Then you remember their spouse's name. You remember their mom's name. You remember important dates. And you just like transform individuals because they feel seen, heard, and valued. In a time of uncertainty, feeling seen, heard, and valued gives you this platform of hope. And here's what hope is. This is from Matthew, who's a guy that loves cats on Twitter. This may be the single best thing I have ever read in my life. Here's what Matthew says. People speak of hope as if it is this delicate, ephemeral thing made of whispers and spider webs. It's not. Hope has dirt on her face, blood on her knuckles, the grit of cobblestones in her hair, and just spat out a tooth as she rises for another go. That's hope. That's hope. That's exactly what dear God, brother. That is exactly, you haven't got, that is it. Well, just spat out a tooth as she rises for another go. Like, that's, that's, so we can give that to each other in a time of uncertainty. You just, and there's a guy in Canada named Zach. I don't know what Zach's last name is. I have fallen in love with this human being. So he's on Instagram and he goes to people, and he will, like the one I watched today a lot of times he'll go to the homeless, he'll go to immigrants, he'll go to restaurant people, he'll go to people in libraries. So this was an obvious immigrant in a library. And he goes up and he'll say, "Hi, I'm sorry. I'm really hungry. Um,
I saw it.
Any way, could you help me out with a little something?" And they always give. They typically have nothing. Then sometimes they'll say, I'll just I'll go to the ATM and get." So this guy had, I think, $1 and gives it to Zach. And Zach says, I just got to tell you, I really didn't need the money. And then the people are totally confused. Like, he said, I was just looking for the first person that would be kind to me. So I'm going to be kind to you. And he gives him $5,000. And the person is just, and they're like, no, I can't. And like, no, yes, take it. They're like, why? And they say, because you were kind. And like this gentleman today, he had just became homeless, and he was behind on his rent, or he was behind on his, when he paid for school tuition.
Yeah.
And then there's another guy that does a similar thing. And can't think of his name, but I watch all his stuff are for the homeless. And he goes up to people and you watch him. He always he asks them for money, and they'll give him like a cup of change. And he'll say, don't need it. And they're like, come on, man. Why are you messing with me?
Yeah.
I love these souls on the street. And he says, no, man, I'd say like, Zach, I'm doing this because I was looking for somebody who was kind. And then James, I think his name's James, he always gives him $500. And the homeless people are just, sometimes they like just print off, but
Yeah.
fall to their knees, or it just,
Yeah.
and then he'll do, not with everyone, but on some of them, he'll do a GoFundMe. And then he goes back to the person, and there's raised two or $3,000. And then these people in the interim, they've taken this $500 and there's probably some that not every person did it this way, but the ones that it shows, they got a job, they reconnected with family and it
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
okay. So all this to say, those are the things that I spend my time looking at. Not I'm not paying attention. I'm not pretending that there's not some massive disruption that's going on at a government level that I don't agree with. I'll be aware of it to the extent that I need to. And I think that what I can do in response is to try to emulate my brother John, to emulate my other two brothers, Jim and Tom, to emulate Zach and Jim, to emulate Matthew, to do those things is probably to try to be, to continue because I'm a new dad. Because when Summer and I got together and she's younger than I, Deanna, my first wife, we had all those animals and we didn't have children. And now I have three. These children are so good. They're 19, 16, and 13. They're just, here's how good my son is. So on Christmas, our girls, they go to their dad, they share holidays. And so they were at their dad's. And he's a great guy. I'll tell you a story what he did. Amazing guy. So it's just Summer, myself, and Ethan are home on Christmas morning. So I go down, it's like about 7 o'clock. I go downstairs and there's no one else up. I got my two pups are with me. Lexi, who you saw, is with dad. And I'm down in the kitchen and I pass out. Down I go.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. Thank God. There must have been angels because it didn't hit my head. And so now I'm on the ground, my hip, God, now to get up. Oh, dear God,
oh,
there's no way. So I'm funny, not totally. The heck am I going to do?
yeah.
And now normally my son sleeps in. By the grace of God, I don't think I screamed or anything. He comes by and he says, David, are you okay? I said, "Brother, buddy, I passed out." He's okay. And one thing, he's a very slender. God, is he strong? I'm like 195 pounds, man. He freaking scooped me up like I was nothing. So day continues. And at one point, of course, then dad says, "You're going to the hospital because you got to find out." And
Yeah.
everything checked out fine. But in the interim, there were these thoughts. I'm a rookie dad. I'm a bonus dad, but I'm a rookie dad. And so I love my son. Came to me, it was like halfway through the day, and he said, "You might have thought that I saw you as weak when you were on the ground." And he said, "That wasn't the case." He said, "Actually, when you asked for help, I saw you as strong." Oh,
That's so
God, that's incredible. Yeah. So I don't know.
their
Yeah.
generation is turning it around.
I'm sorry.
Their generation
Oh,
is
yes,
turning things around.
I totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I look at my two daughters are just, they have an amazing dad. He's a great dad. Ethan's dad, we'll just put him to the side. But the girl's dad is just an awesome dude. Here's how awesome he is. And married to their bonus mom is freaking phenomenal.
Oh,
During like midway of the year that I was last year when I was going through treatment and still depressed, what I didn't know was Steve and Katrina, that's their dad and bonus mom, had contacted Summer and asked her to come over because they wanted to give she and I something. And Summer said, "Okay, all right, whatever." So what they had done is they went to their favorite restaurant and bought a $100 gift certificate. And they said, "Please, you and David go out and please let David know how much we love him and how much we're here to support him." They call it, that's your wife's ex-husband,
yeah.
which I will never use the word ex. That's my beloved's former spouse. I'm like, I think of you guys. And so I, I think the girls and I think Ethan are benefiting from those sorts of, they look at that and they think,
Absolutely.
wow. And I think if I may, that I never will call my my first wife X. I will never call Deanna X. Deanna will be my former beloved, my former wife, my former partner, never X, never. And I think that those things, not that I do that for them, I do think that they take notice of that. And I think that then I, Gracie, my youngest, made me this card. Oh. And I don't know why early on 7 years ago, I just started calling her the bear. So she signed it with the
The
bear.
bear. Nice bear,
I
by the
know.
way.
She's really artistic. She-
Yeah.
She's really artistic. She wrote, she said, "You are my hero, David Woods Bartley. You are my dad. I am grateful beyond words that you love me." It's all that. My favorite nurse at ECT is Betty, and Betty's 4'10", and she's probably in her 50s. And I don't think I've ever literally seen Betty do anything but smile. And my brothers and sisters, we come into that place in difficult ways. And Betty is incredibly good at just loving old people. And we've become very close. And so 2 times ago, because I don't go as often anymore. I'm in the recovery section. They have these they're like lazy boy chairs. And then they have these blankets that are in this special heated box. They say, "David, would you like a blanket?" I'm like, "Oh my God, yes." Oh, so anyway, this 2 times ago, Betty saw me and she came over, and she came a little closer than she normally comes. Not that that was a bad thing, because I'm a hugger, and I don't know if I've ever hugged Betty. But she actually leaned in and she whispered and she said, "David, there's a new patient named Ken, and he'll be here in just a little bit. Will you please let him know it's all going to be okay?" When I told that story last Thursday, and I said, to be trusted, to be the kind of ambassador, and spokesperson for the process, for the procedure, and for the staff, and to be trusted. I, I didn't expect that a year ago. That's for sure. But those are the sorts of things that we can do in this time of uncertainty for each other, that I think it just, it doesn't fix anything, but I think it changes how we feel, because it gives us the presence of, I think, the most important emotion of all, hope.
I totally agree with you. Absolutely 100%. In that vein, since the pandemic, things just felt, I don't know, disjointed.
Mm.
And my husband and I have a little dog. We're set in our ways. He wasn't as hard on us as it was on some people, not going out. I am mobility challenged anyway, and he played hockey for too many years. Walking for us is difficult. And he just got a new knee in September. He's definitely doing better.
Mm.
But the whole thing during COVID, there was all these people that I wasn't getting to see, and connecting on social media by putting up pictures or what have you is one thing. But I started doing little texts to everybody
Mm.
called my flyby hug.
Oh, I like that.
Okay. And that's all it is. It's hi, you, flyby hug. And for people that I just got a feeling that they needed something more, there was love ya. I've been doing it for years, and there are a ton of people who can tell you that. And I know some people at first thought, oh, what's wrong?
Twice.
There's nothing wrong. I just wanted to be sure you know that you're in my thought. And it become a regular thing, because I realized that offering some little bit of hope, some little bit of acknowledgement can some days be the only good thing that happens to
Yeah.
someone.
Yeah. I
And
agree with you 1000
yeah,
percent.
and I'm not ever looking for a response. I get a lot of responses, but that was never the point. It was just thinking of you, and I'll do that because I think we have to stretch those virtual threads that connect people to us and keep them well serviced. You have blankets and sweaters and things you put on to keep you warm. Every so often, they have to go in the wash so you can fluff them up. For me, the flyby hug is fluffing up that connection I
Yep.
have with that person.
Wow.
And
I love it. I'm gonna
yeah,
steal the
I'm a fluffer.
you're and funny, so I shared with you before the show, there's a particular branch of the government that I'm fond of them all, but I have a buddy who's the senior enlisted person for this entire branch
Yeah,
of the military. Dear friend, and going through just organizationally, they're going through a whole bunch of stuff. And so it occurred to me when I first heard the news, this is got, I bet this is pretty tough for my buddy. And so I just sent him a note. Hey, bro, just, you know what? Just please know I love you so very much. And I have every, just because it's still such a high state of uncertainty,
yeah,
I've probably sent 2 or 3 more, and Elaine, to your point, what my buddy sends back every single time is, "You have no idea how
what
much
the
this means to me."
yeah.
Just and, you know, when you would think, especially if you see him, he is, good Lord, he's probably 6'6", incredibly handsome, unfairly handsome fucker, excuse me. Uh, But no, and he's big and he's got all the stripes and everything. He's accomplished and smart and funny. He's like a package. Like, why did God give him everything? But I mean, no, and he's just an absolute sweetheart of a human being. You wouldn't think something as simple as, "Hey, brother, I just want to let you know," and it's just something so simple. It's incredible. It's yeah, it
I
is.
want to insert something here because I've said this a couple of times on the show, but I think in this context, the navigating uncertainty and what you've talked about, I want each of us, every audience member that hears this, and people, I want you to, for every month there is, I want you to take on 1 to 3 people
Mm.
that are strangers. Okay, not the people you know, because I want you to fly by, hug them, do all that, whatever you want to do to the people you know. But what I want you to do is pick some strangers and just, okay, give one 10 minutes. Say, I'm here, I'll listen.
Mm.
And that's what I want you to do. Don't fix anything. Don't put your 2 cents in there. You don't even have to say, you know how it feels or whatever. I just want you to allow them, tell them that you're going to listen and give them 10 minutes. And the other two, when you see someone, okay, there's got to be something about that person that you find interest. Tell them.
Mm.
Great glasses, nice hat, love the way you walk. Oh, you must be so good to your dog. He looks so happy. Just a positive statement. Because I'll tell you, when you do that, people walk away jaunty. They're more in their body, they're in the moment. And you don't know, but there are people who don't get a positive response from anyone all day long. This is a massive gift that you can give to a stranger, and it costs you a couple of moments of your time.
Mhm.
But if we all do that,
Okay.
just think how much kinder, how much nicer the world will be. Because the minute somebody gives you a compliment, the minute someone allows you to be seen, you automatically find that not just hope, but happiness. There's a little seed of joy in you. And if we start planting those seeds, we are going to fill the world with walking forests of joy.
I agree with you so much, darling. And, and I use Dr. Ramsey's quote a lot. So Drew Ramsey an amazing psychiatrist. He's a wild man on Instagram. He's really if I had to say what Dr. Ramsey really, his passion is about brain gut health and
Wow.
nutrition. And he's extraordinary. Here's what Dr. Ramsey said. So here's a man that has sat with people like me for countless years. And this is to your point so beautifully that what Dr. Ramsey said, the two of you, your brilliant souls together, he says, reminds us someone we see today is thinking about killing themselves. Our smile, our question, our love could save them. Trust me, they told me it did.
Absolutely.
And it's just, you think about, and then the other thing I'll add just add in, I know we're probably running out of time, is about manners. So
Mhm.
the time that I walked into the Panda Express, the manager said, "Sir, are you okay?" So I walked in and it was like 7 o'clock on a Saturday and the place was gleaming. It was so incredibly clean. And so I just said, I just have to say, I know it didn't just happen this way. Like it is gorgeous in here. And so they said, thank you so much. And I'm like, I just want to let you know. And so then Izzy, who was the young woman about 16 or 17 who was going to wait on me, she said, sir, what would you like? And I said, Izzy, my name's David. May I please have this? And may I please have this? And may I please have this? And after the third, may I please, she stopped and looked at me and said, sir, thank you for your manners. And I'm like, and just think of the role reversal there.
Yeah.
Like it would have been, if it was me complimenting Izzy on her manners, it would make sense. Oh, that's a child that had been raised by. That was a child who was recognizing and appreciating the value of free. And I'm like, well, Izzy, of course. And then I wanted one more thing and I didn't know what to get. And I said, Izzy, do you have a favorite? And she says, yes, I do. And I said, may I please have that? So we finish up and go to the register and checking out. And she said, sir. And I said, yes, Izzy. She says, you're the nicest customer we've had in a very long time.
Wow.
I think about, on the one hand, you think how low the bar is, but see, I interpret it as how easy it is
It is.
for us to make, to your point, beautiful soul, a significant difference in another person's life by simply saying please and thank you, acknowledging hard work, like you become the superstar because you're all about being good. Wow. Okay. Pretty easy.
So
So,
here, I'm going to put it in a little nugget. This is my little nugget, people. Before you leave the house, maybe even before you leave your bedroom, I want you to put on 2 accessories that you can take with you every day. And that's please and thank you.
amen. Amen. Yes. It is amazing. The other thing that I teach people in terms of names, I say next time you go to a restaurant, you're going to be with that soul for probably 60 minutes.
Yeah.
For them waiting on you every single time, not every other, not every third, every single time that person comes back to the table, use their name. And then you tell me what happens at the end of an hour.
And Andrew Carnegie? Is it
Oh,
Andrew?
Dale Carnegie.
Is it Dale?
Well, there's no, well, Dale Carnegie has the
Yeah, the
person.
communication thing.
Yeah,
So
to a person, the sound of that person's name is the
the
sweetest, the most
is the
important sound.
sweetest sound they've ever heard. Yes,
Exactly.
exactly.
And see, and I
I
think,
always mix those 2 up because
well, they're two great souls.
Scottish.
I just think you think about interesting how simple it is to make an impact that you just because we all want the experience of connection. And the definition I always use is Brene Brown. Of course, it's going to be like ridiculously great. She says, I define connection as the energy that exists between people when they feel seen, heard, and valued, when they can give and receive without judgment, and they derive strength and sustenance from the relationship. So
Absolutely.
you, beautiful friend, that gift that you have set up where you are just giving, saying, hey, just give somebody the space to share, not talk, share.
Yeah.
Because there's a Rachel Neely Remen wrote Do I have it here? Oh, sure. An amazing book called Kitchen Table Wisdom. And she says, so Dr. Remen was a physician for probably close to 4 decades and learned these incredible things. This is what she says about listening. She says, our listening creates a sanctuary for the homeless parts in another person.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Isn't it amazing? Between that and just spat out a tooth as she rises for another go.
That's so good. I
Said,
love
"Oh,
that.
what?" I'm like, that's it. God, I would think like,
Yeah, that is absolutely perfect.
uh,
Dan, I'm going to say that is exactly where we're going to end for today.
okay.
'Cause I think that was just absolutely perfect.
And if you
It
bear with
is.
invite me to come back, I have a whole nother part of my work now than I do we didn't talk about.
Whoa.
I'll
We
be
will
working on the web on.
absolutely have you back. No two ways about that.
You're an
And we
angel.
will do it relatively soon too.
Okay, cool.
I cannot thank you enough, David,
Oh, so I just
for
enjoyed it. I love
sharing with us. Just, I absolutely adore you.
my grandma Jane would say, right back at you.
I love that. I
Oh,
love
yeah.
it.
Oh, you would have loved Grandma Jane.
Yeah, I bet I
Work
would.
worked for the IRS for 35 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a great lady.
Wow. That's so cool. To the audience, let me say, you will find everything you need to know about David and connecting down below on our transcript I can't talk anymore. On our transcript page, everything will be there, and we will definitely be inviting David very soon.
Thank you, my beloved friend.
Thank you, my beloved friend. I want to say to our audience, as usual, make the very best of your today,
Mm.
every day. And we will see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye for now.
Thank you for being here for another inspiring episode of Suicide Zen Forgiveness. We appreciate you tuning in. Please subscribe and download on your favorite service and check out SZF's YouTube channel or Facebook community. If you have the chance to leave a 5-star rating or review, it'd be greatly appreciated. Please refer this to a friend you know who may benefit from the hope and inspiration from our guests. Suicide Zen Forgiveness was brought to you by the following sponsors: Truel Social Media, the digital integration specialists. Let them get you rocking page 1 in the search results. Canada's keynote humorist Judy Croon, motivational speaker, comedian, author, and stand-up coach at Second City, Judy has been involved for over a decade in the City Street Outreach Program in Toronto.
The ultimate podcasting hack. This is great for you if you're just starting your podcast or if you've been running it for a while. It's filled with tools, templates, and trainings for starting, growing, and monetizing your podcast. Get access to time-saving system strategies for accelerating your process at each step. Find new connections and collaborations in the uplifting podcasting community. I look forward to seeing you there.
Do you have a story to share? Do you know someone you think would be a great guest? Please go to szf42.com. And for our American listeners, that's szf42.com. Thank you for listening, and we hope to see you again.